of Black women.
Okay, we're live, and yes, I'm gonna shoot out some things, and then we're just gonna go from there.
Okay.
So, hello, welcome to another episode of Something for the Culture. I'm Jazzy J. Tonight I don't have my partner Malcolm King, but I do have these lovely ladies. Let me introduce them. This is Tillery Henry, aka Tilly Two, the singer. I also have Nicole Watson, who's also been on the show before, so y'all are quite familiar with her, and the lovely Asha, who's also been on the show before.
Hey, hey.
All right, so let's wait for some people to get on board and on the live.
Okay.
So while we're waiting for that, if y'all want to go ahead and each take y'all time explaining what it is that y'all do. Let's start with Tilly. Tilly, you want to go ahead and start? Oh, is she frozen?
I can't hear.
I can't hear her either. We can't hear you.
I'm Tilly too, a singer, songwriter. R&B is my genre. I fell in love with that at an early age. Oh man. Oh my gosh. I'm having
It's okay if you want to come out the live and then come
Can
back
you
in.
hear me? Uh,
I can hear her. It's like, I don't know if her video is lagging or not.
Yeah, it is lagging.
Can you
Tilly, if you can hear us, just go ahead and exit out the live and come back in with the same link I gave you. Nicole, you want to go ahead and explain who you are?
Hi everybody, I'm Nicole, 34 years old. I'm a suicide prevention consultant and an anti-bullying specialist, and I'm also an author, and I'm glad to be here.
All right, sister girlfriend.
All right now. And Miss Asha, can you explain who you are?
Yes, so I am the owner, fashion designer, and creative mind behind the brand Asha Bailey Designs. I'm a fashion and interior designer. My fashion line is a brand that's unique, based around your natural body shape. All pieces are one of a kind, so no piece is ever made alike. And I also do interiors where I make custom decor, and just based on, like whatever the person's overall taste and style is and how they want the home to be laid out. So I actually do that as well.
Cool. Let me go ahead and show one of Mr. Asha's dresses real quick so y'all can see. Look at that print right there. How long did it take you to do this dress?
It took me a couple hours. Actually, that is a kente print that I found. And I actually redesigned it today. That's why it's behind me, because I'm currently revamping the way I constructed it the first time. It's a fitted dress, and being that I'm an hourglass shape, it's hard for when I go out to buy clothing, because the top half of my body is smaller than the lower half of my body. And so I have to, what I'm doing with it right now is I am using 2 different sizes for the top and the bottom of the dress. So I typically think of different concepts based on your personal style, what you may be missing in your wardrobe that you probably desire the most. And we build from there. And then, like I said, because the clothing are made based on your unique body shape, like I have to, get to understand like what your body shape is, helping you understand how to go about dressing yourself, what looks good on you. I'm always here to help, like if you need help with color selection, You know, trying to figure out, you know, which store brands, if you don't have time for custom made, you know, what store brands will actually carry items that, you know, fit your body shape. I just feel like we as Black women, um, in the professional realm and even on a not even in the professional realm, I feel like we need to start dressing like the royalty that we are and stop allowing the internet and what is portrayed to us by women in the entertainment industry to be the standard norm of how we should conduct ourselves. Like, there's nothing wrong with being sexy. There's nothing wrong with being, you know, familiar with your body and being sensual and things like that. But when you're trying to fit yourself in something that someone who's not built like you is wearing, it's like there's a level of confidence that takes a hit. And, you know, working in retail, I would hear a lot of Black women complain in regards to, you know, most of these clothing brands out here, they only cater to the skinny girls. And, you know, the skinny girls are always, they're able to find clothes and stuff like that. And then you have, like, you know, this burst of plus size designers that have come out, but I noticed that they too missed the mark as well, because I guess most plus size women just think that every plus size woman has short legs, stumpy legs, you know, don't have a shape or anything like that. And they're not confident in what they're wearing. And I, for one, like, I take pride in my physical appearance because it's the first thing that people see. And that's one thing about it is, like, you know, we as women, just based off of what we wear, people immediately, as Black women, we immediately get labeled based off of how we're dressed, off of how we present ourselves out here in the streets every single day. So I'm just like, you know, that's why I'm doing this, because I want us as Black women to be more confident in the clothing that we wear, in the skin that we're in. Like, we shouldn't have to go lay on somebody's table and get a life-threatening surgery to look like something that we weren't even genetically made to be built like. Like, none of us are built the same way. Why would you want to walk around looking like a cookie cutter of somebody else and, you know, whatever? So I want my pieces to be able to display the versatility in the differences of a certain size having the same body shape and how they both can look the same. Just because you're a big size doesn't mean you can't have the same figure as somebody who's smaller than you. Like, I'm tired of, you know, I just don't like that in our community. And I want each of us as Black women to be able to compliment each other and not covet what the other person has, you know, because it's so much envy and jealousy that, you know, for some reason, as Black women, we are, for some reason, from what I'm seeing, like, from a child going upward, we're just conditioned to be competitive with each other. And I don't understand that concept.
Very true. You made very valid points. Ms. Watson, what do you have to say about what Asha just stated about as far as the clothing and shape wise of our women?
I mean, I think it goes on both ends of the spectrum. Like, I'm very skinny. So, you know, I've always been teased for, like, looking like a little girl, or how you Black and you don't have this, you don't have that. And I think sometimes we get so focused on the outer appearance that we don't appreciate the beauty of how we all were made. Like, everybody wasn't made to look a certain way. And you're not more of a woman because you have a bigger butt, and you're not less of a woman because you have a smaller chest. Like, it's not how you look that defines your womanhood, but I think that because of society and stuff like that, that's how we are portrayed. Even if you think back to, like, Jim Crow, how they used to portray, like, the Black woman with the big booty and the big, you know, and a lot of times people who are smaller, like myself, are made to feel like we don't have, you know, the body we're supposed to have. But I think it's important that we look beyond what we look like and focus on who we really are. And I think that it's all important. Being plus size is beautiful. Being, you know, mid-size is beautiful. Being skinny is beautiful. And I think that we all should be making it what's the word I'm looking for? Making everybody feel safe regardless of how they look. And so, you know, like she said, if you can't find something that fits you and flatters you and makes you look the way you feel like you should look, then you should make it. And that helps you and it helps other people to feel comfortable in the skin that they're in because you're giving them something that complements the way that they were made.
Mm.
So I think stuff like that should be supported. You know, a lot of times we go out and we support Gucci and we support Louis Vuitton and we support all of these labels, but there are people who are in our culture who have the Black woman experience, who are doing things to make us look better. And I think those are the people that we should support the most.
Appreciate
I
that.
agree. Welcome back, Hillary. We were just talking about
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We were just talking about Asha's clothing brand and how she basically does her measurements off the contours of her clients' bodies. Did you want to add your 2 cents into how some of our women, you know, spend all this money on these designer labels and it doesn't look right on them, opposed to going, you know, shopping with someone like Asha or anybody in our culture for that matter?
I think it's really good that she does that. It adds a certain sense of confidence to the individual important. As far as Gucci and, you know, those high-end labels, it's kind of hard to feel confident in those clothes because it kind of just caters to one size of the ideal of what's supposed to be beautiful. And I think it just makes young girls grow up and have this unrealistic expectations of what they're supposed to look like. So I love businesses that cater individually to what that woman looks like because she knows her flaws and has, you know, grew up with these things and she know what she wants to look like. I think it's really good that there is a line, you know, just for a girl like that. I love lines like that. I can fully support stuff like that.
Right.
And I wanted to add something to that too. We were talking about with how they perceive, like how little girls grow up thinking that this is how they're supposed to look, and like all these different fashion brands and, you know, how Black people buy them. And one of the things I had noticed when I first got into this business, like I would look into different fashion magazines. And one of the things that I've always noticed, and it still happens to this day, you can go pick up a Harper's Bazaar magazine, a Vogue magazine, any of those magazines. Like if you're in the store, just pick one up. First thing you'll ever notice is that all the white models are at the very front of the magazine. The light skinned models are there with them. Like they're trying to do it where like they have all the light skinned models with the natural curly hair. You know, you don't see the too much kinky hair up there, but you got the natural blonde color, you know, mixed eye color look. And then you flip to the very back of the magazine and all the very dark skinned models are all in the back of these magazines. And it's across the board. Like I've been looking at these magazines for years as like ways of studying, you know, the fashion industry. And that's one of the first things I zeroed in on is how they put like, and they have these people modeling for Gucci and Dior and all of this stuff. And it's like you people run to these stores, Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, buying all this stuff. And you have no idea that the people that they have modeling this stuff that are Black, they're all stuck in the back of the magazine. And they've been doing that for decades. So it's like for someone to not notice that, like that's why we have Ebony magazine and Jet magazine and those types of magazines that popped up because of just that bias alone. And like, you know, Nicole was saying, like, you know, these women, you know, she's small and it's like, but you're the type of woman that gets put into those magazines because all those models in that are Black, they don't have curves. They're very small. Like I've watched documentaries of a Black female model in New York. She has the walk, has the style, has it all. But because she has slight curves and she's curvier than her white counterpart models, she doesn't get the job on the runway. But she can outwalk these chicks like there's nothing in the world. Strutting. And she's tall, slender, but because she kind of has wide hips, when they measure her, and they measure another model, they tell her that her hips are too wide. So we don't have a really fighting chance out here in this industry. And I'm trying to open that gateway for women that are not a size 0, who are not always a size 2. Like, I'm including everybody across the board, you know? So it's like, I'm not being biased because there are other designers out here who are just sticking with one niche. Just that one niche. And it's like, I want to cover, you know, the entire board of all Black women to represent who we are, bringing out a textile that most people don't even know anything about. These patterns and these prints that I use, they have a history behind them. I don't just make this stuff because it looks good. I'm making this stuff because I'm bringing out your ancestral roots. And I want you to understand that when you're wearing this stuff, you're royalty. Don't let anybody make you feel any less than what you are. When you walk out of the house in something that I make, you're going to hold your head high. People are going to look at you and gawk at you because they're going to be like, what is that? Where are you from? What's your, you know, whatever. Like, so, you know, we need to have that.
But I wanted y'all to address this comment right here. And before I do read the comment, first shout out to Sheba Fisher from the Me and My show in Oklahoma, and shout out to Dee Dee for her award-winning radio station. So shout out to those 2 Black queens. And this is actually Malcolm King, my partner, who just made the comment. He said, clothes just cover the body, but who you are represent you. So what do y'all feel about that?
I'll let one of these ladies go.
I mean, I think that's very true. I think that when we put it into that perspective, we will dress according to how we are, and we won't let what we wear determine, you know, what we are. I think a lot of times we have it twisted, and when we want to be a certain thing, we go and we get all these clothes and all these shoes and all this stuff to make us be that, instead of focusing on being that first. And, you know, like I tell people all the time, I'd rather look like $1,000 and have $1 million than look like $1 million and only have 1,000. Because at the end of the day, some of the richest people in the world get their clothes from Walmart and Gap. And so I think sometimes we are just so materialistic that we allow ourselves to be defined by things that were never meant to define us. They were meant for us to express ourselves with them. So it's like the roles are reversed.
Right.
Sheba Fisher just made a comment. She said the young lady, I'm assuming she was speaking of Asha, spoke something about colorism, which is still a big barrier between women of color, and she's correct. It is.
And I'm highly aware of that. Yeah, we've been aware of that for quite some time. This whole light skin versus dark skin ordeal, like, that's not a new concept. This has been a problem for a long time. You got the light-skinned girls that, you know, everybody desires them because they like they're mixed or they like they're exotic or whatever. They're from here, and it's like they're just straight up Black. They just got that one drop of white blood in their ancestry. Like, there's nothing different about them, just other than their skin tone. You know, it's like, you know, but it's like, and I understand what he's saying. Like, he's saying a Black woman's struggle is deeper than an outfit. In his opinion, I get that. Yes, we have various struggles out here. There's so many struggles that we as Black women have to deal with. Our clothing is one of them. The way we carry ourselves is definitely one of the things that we have to deal with. And then on top of that, it's like the personality. We're always labeled as being angry. Like, we can't openly express our anger in a certain manner without being looked at as crazy or you're tripping or whatever. And it's like, why is it okay for you as a man, as a Black man, in the first place, feel like it's okay to express yourself? But me as a woman, I'm supposed to be docile. I'm not supposed to have any type of passion about what it is that I'm trying to get across. Like, if you're antagonizing me in a certain way, I feel like, yeah, I'm going to blow up, but that doesn't make me crazy. That I'm a human. I have emotions, and all of us don't go out here and express ourselves the exact same way as someone else. And it's like, stop trying to box us as Black women in these stupid categories as the angry Black woman, the bitter Black woman. We have anger issues. We have this. We have so much that we have to heal from. as a Black community, being Black as a child in the ghetto, most times, most parents don't think their kids need freaking therapy, but they actually do. And then most of us grow up trying to figure these things out in life. And it's just like, like, come on, man, like, give us a break. We as Black women need to be able to have a safe space to actually be able to breathe and be who we are without us having to feel like we're boxed in. Like, that's the problem. And then it's like, we're always out here portrayed as being violent, all this other stuff. And it's like, I mean, what do you expect us to act like if we don't know any other healthy outlets of expressing our anger and stuff like that? So yeah, I'm definitely aware.
I do want to get some of these comments because we do have a lot of comments coming in. So let's start with
yeah, I'm reading the comments as they come.
Yeah.
She said, "Are you reading those?" With Emma Heltberg drama that's currently going on. Is anybody familiar with that situation right now?
No.
I'm not familiar. Sheba, if you could get that information for me to update us on that, because the panel is currently not informed on that. The next comment.
I need to know.
Yeah, because I haven't heard of any of that before.
Okay, let's see. The next comment was Malcolm King. He says, as a race, Black men get that as well. I think we need to stop separate the struggle. We go through different struggles, even though we go through struggles. The Black man definitely goes through struggles that Black women can't relate to, and vice versa, But to say, like, just to separate it, we can't separate it unless y'all men stop doing some of it to us and vice versa. Like, it has to be a common ground. Let's go to the next comment real quick. Sheba says, white women are tanning and using dark foundations in order to sell their brands. And yes, there's been a few Instagram models that have been caught doing this.
Yeah, the blackfishing.
Yes. What do y'all think about that?
That shit's okay. It's weird as fuck. I don't understand. I don't understand the concept. Like, why?
I mean, do y'all think they making fun of us, or do y'all think maybe it's just no?
It's an obsession. In my opinion,
I don't. In my opinion, all jokes aside, in my opinion, I honestly feel like, in a way, they look up to us.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest, Black women have the most desired look, full lips, the shape, the whole Coke bottle 9. And I'm trying not to really get in my feelings about it. I wish they wouldn't do it. It's take as far as the braids and the cornrows and the tanning. And then I'm like, okay, you're doing way too much for me. I just how they're looked at since of 2 different races. Honestly, I feel like, well, Black girls got this, white girls got that, Hispanics and vice versa comparisons, that they eventually just don't know what to look like to be desired. That's really all I think.
True.
It's sad. It really is.
It is. I wanted to we have like a lot of comments coming in. Kimberly Williams, she says white women are going to profit off of us because we're popping. She also goes on to say that Black women and Black men have different struggles, and that's just the bottom line. Let's see what else. Brian says for a lot, it's a love-hate thing. Sheba says no, they're making fun of us. They're making money off of our look, mannerisms, and culture, period. Yeah, that could be tied into an obsession with us, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Miss Watson, what do you think about that?
I mean,
I absolutely think that. I mean, you think about how many times you wear your natural hair, and you always have that white lady that's like, "Oh my God, can I touch your hair?" And you're like, "Sis, no." You can't. Or like when you go to the store and somebody sees your hair wrap and they're like, oh my goodness, how did you get that on your head? And how did you? And oh my goodness, and wow, wow, wow. And even I can remember, being in school and people just being like, wow, you can play music and you can do this, you can do this, and you can do that. And I think because we're so naturally um, multifaceted and we're so naturally resilient, a lot of times people of other races, they admire that, but it's kind of like what the saying, they love our culture but they don't love us. It's like, you like looking like me, but you don't want my struggle. You don't want to identify with me, but you want to look like me. You want to wear what I wear. You want to put weave in your hair. You want to have babies by my cousins and stuff like that, so they can get a little chocolate in them. But you don't want to be like who I am.
This comment. I'm not skipping comments. The comments are coming in at once. So when they all come up, I'm trying to catch them at once. So bear with me, folks. There was a comment that was skipped by Malcolm. He said, it's the plan to separate the Black woman from the Black man. We have equal struggles. I disagree. And I'm going to tell you why I disagree with that. We don't have the same. Yes, we have a struggle. We have similar struggles as far as colorism and racism goes. However, we have to deal with the colorism with our own women. We are constantly fighting with the light-skinned women for whatever reason. And sometimes we're put, the darker girls are put into situations or made to feel like they're less than a Black woman because of their darker skin. So we have to deal with situations such as that. Not only that, we have to deal with our hair issues within our job. Our daughters have to deal with the braids and situations in school and stuff like that. It's just, I'm not saying that little boys don't do it with dreads, but it's more common for the little girls to go through that with cornrows and just octopus braids, stuff that little girls have grown up with.
Yeah.
So to say that it's the same struggles, it's not. It's really not. We do not go through the same struggles all the way.
Not across the board. Yeah.
No.
And we also have to remember that we live in a very misogynistic society. Yep. So off top, I can get a job, the same job as a Black man. They're going to pay him more because he's a man.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I want to get into some of these misconceptions about the Black woman, but hold on, let me get all these comments. Kimberly Williams said they fetishize. Sheba Fisher said they utilize and exploit our rhythm but want none. Let's see here. Kimberly Williams, our own men, look how the Black men were toasting to light-skinned bitches. I'm glad she brought that point up.
I saw that video earlier today talking about here's to more light-skinned babies. These Black dudes with their white women talking about toast to more light-skinned babies. Like, really, bro? That's how you feel? Like, no. Like, we have to sit here and be looked at as being ghetto. Our hair is not, if it's not long and straight and silky, we're overlooked, or our hair is nappy or it's unkept. Like, y'all say that y'all appreciate the Black woman, but we still see y'all run to a chick that will go and throw a 50-inch weave in her hair real quick and got a big booty and a small waist. Like, let's not sit here, because I mean, let's be real about it. You think we as women are out here just picking and choosing dudes based off of how they look? We're looking for men based on their character and showing like how they can provide for us. And to say that we as Black women, yeah, we do marry for money in this day and age. You damn right we do. You think we're going to marry down when we're out here building businesses on our own? And you expect to come with your high school diploma and no real ambition and expect me to build you up? You got to show me that you want to be built up by doing your own footwork as well, because I got to do the same thing. I can't carry the weight of both of us. I have enough weight of this world that I have to carry on my shoulders. Black man, I don't need your extra weight on my shoulders.
Malcolm, no, you cannot be added because this is all woman panel. I mean, we can see your comment. He goes on to say, but men go go through that as well. I remember being dark-skinned women wouldn't talk to darker men back in the day. I'm not saying that didn't happen. Okay. Boom. Thank you, Kimberly Williams. Because ultimately, and I'm glad you said that, she said, but we marry black men.
Yep.
And the reason why that is, listen, let me tell you something. We have been black women have been supporting black men for decades, centuries, the dawn of time. The dawn of time. Okay. When we were all slaves together, well, not us personally, but our ancestors, when they were slaves, you know, and the men were weak, y'all would find nourishment from our breast to have strength. And, you know, we have held y'all backbone for the longest. And to upright and turn around, y'all have disrespected. A lot of black men have disrespected the black woman.
They have.
To no end.
And it's just like, it goes back into the black woman's history. Like, there's so many unhealed issues that we as black women have to deal with, where our grandmothers, great grandmothers, and our mothers have, like, you know, given the men in their lives so many chances. They go out here, you hear about these people whose grandparents had kids like all over the freaking place, and their wives still stuck by their side. And it's like, you know, back in the day, it was like divorce wasn't really a thing like it is now. But it's like, come on, like, we got to do better, man. Like, I understand, like, there's been a lot of, like, talk about polygamy being, like, natural or whatever. But I'm not about that whole polygamy ordeal, you know? And it's just like, the thing about it is, it's like, we as black women, we're so loyal to our black men. Like, we will still, like, when that whole, okay, like, I don't know if you guys were, like, following that whole Jasmine Island ordeal, the girl that claimed that she was raped on Facebook Live on her birthday back in January. And how, like, all these black women, like, came out, like, one, there was, like, mixed commentary, because they were, one, like, a lot of women were dragging this girl, like, you know, you shouldn't have been out here doing this, you should have been out here doing that. Then you have women, like, bashing the dude or whatever. And then, like, out of nowhere, it was like this whole backlash toward certain women that were kind of backing the dude up from other women. Like, they were like literally, this whole thing brought on, like, some kind of weird ass shitstorm between the black community, like, between black feminists and black women, because there's a difference between the two. And it was just like these are things that we have to deal with on a regular daily basis. Like, the fact that the way this story came out, you know, a lot of people were upset because I guess it came out like the girl was lying about it, and, you know, just things weren't adding up. And, you know, like, one of the things that we as black women are dealing with, that are still trying to heal from in our community, is the epidemic of rape. You know, this shit happening in families. It doesn't get brought up. The shit gets swept under the rug. You know, you hear white women, they can openly go and talk about, like, you know, how this happened to them, and that particular person gets arrested. Now they're a registered sex offender. And then, like, we as black women, we go and tell that someone did that to us, and it's like, you need to keep your mouth shut. You need to be quiet. So we're being told to repress the way we actually feel. And then we go out here into this world, and we're filled with all this toxicity. And then it's like, how do we go from here to heal ourselves? Okay, I see what you're saying, Kimberly. She said he was arrested last week. But basically, like, you know, how do we as black women, like, what can we do to help each other heal from all these traumas that we have to deal with? Because we have to understand, like, walking around having, you know, these children, like, children are not bad. Like, these are things that are being passed down to them from DNA to DNA. Like, these, you know, it's like, if we're not going to change ourselves internally, mentally, physically, like, how can we go forward? Like, we gotta, as black women, like, seriously, we gotta pull together right now, because it's like, you know, the feminist movement that started with white women, and somehow it just, you know, we got dragged into it. But it's like, no, man, like, we need to have something for ourselves, like, for us as black women, like, to be able to talk about these things. Like, there are so many things that we as black women, we bottle up on the inside. Everybody claims that we're so strong, and on the inside, we're like slowly but surely shattering on the inside. Because we don't have that safe space to be able to open up and talk about our problems. It's like, soon as we do so, we're bashed about it. We're told that as a Black woman, you're supposed to be quiet and you're supposed to stand tall and stand strong. But it's like, so I can't express any other emotion other than just that. I'm supposed to walk around here like, what the hell? I'm not a robot.
I actually want to interject some of these comments. Okay, Malcolm said no, it's not. It's not fair for the Black man to worship the Black woman. Miss Watson, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
You want to answer that question?
It's not fair for what now? The Black man?
Yeah, the Black man to worship the Black woman.
I mean, I don't worship people, so I don't worship others. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but like I don't. And so I think there should be mutual respect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes women do have an entitlement of like, I'm a woman, treat me like this.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, respect should be in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Right.
And I shouldn't be telling you, treat me like this because I'm a Black woman. But then I'm going to talk to you however I want to talk to you. I'm going to nag you. I'm going to this, I'm going to that.
It's all
like,
about
it has
duality.
to be mutual.
Yeah.
Malcolm, that is.
So if you want somebody to worship you, worship them back.
Right.
Wait,
exactly.
hold on. Malcolm, I read exactly the comment that you put up. This was the comment that you put up.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was the exact. So that's what they're answering, that comment that you put up.
So he said it's not fair to the Black man that worship Black women, but we're not. But that's the thing. Also, like, we're also not always grouping all Black men into this. Like, some of y'all be getting in y'all feelings real quick when we bring up these subjects. How about you go and check your brothers about the shit that they do? Because we got to do it as well. Like, we got to check our sisters about the bullshit that they be on too. But y'all brothers, y'all got to get out there and do y'all part as well. If you know that you're a king, that you know how you out here doing what you're supposed to do, you know that you're providing for your family and you're doing what you're supposed to do and you building your business, well, we going to need for y'all to step up too, bro, and go out there and talk to your fellow brothers out there. Y'all can expect us to just go out there and do it for everybody.
I want to add something. Going back to what Malcolm's comment. I think sometimes one thing that we do as Black women is we do lump all Black men into a category. And like, I didn't grow up around any abusive Black men. So like, I don't have that experience. I didn't grow up around men who talk down to women. I didn't grow up around any of that. And so I understand, like, it's two sides. All Black men don't bash Black women, but all Black men don't respect Black women either. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think you can always be all inclusive when you say stuff. But I believe that on the same token, you have to know that if I'm speaking to what a particular person does, I'm not talking about the whole race of people. I'm talking about the people who do that particular thing.
Okay, this comment right here says Stephanie Smith. She said, Black women need to show more respect to themselves. Believe we are more than how society looks at us. We must believe in ourselves first before we want others to believe in us. I agree with her to a degree. I agree with her to a degree, and the reason why I say that, because yes, you have a lot of sisters out here that don't respect themselves, and you know, don't respect the Black women need to show more respect. Don't.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Okay, like I was saying, I'm sorry, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
We need to show respect to ourselves as far as mothers, being a wife, you know, being a sister, a friend. And a lot of us don't do that. However, that's not to say that we need to just totally disregard the struggles and problems that we face daily from our own men, from other races, and so on and so forth.
Wait, can I say can I clarify my comment that you said?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying that what I was saying was not fair to the Black men that actually worship Black women. I didn't say that black men shouldn't worship black
Yeah, I
men.
went back and reread what you
That's
Yeah,
not
said.
what I said.
Yeah,
I
we
know.
went
We
back and
went back
reread
and
what
put
you
it up.
said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we went back and reread it in clarity to see what you said.
Okay, thank you. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna mind my business because I know this is a woman panel. I'm sorry, guys. But,
No, I'm just saying, like,
all right, but
okay,
can I get my point off so I could? Let me get my point off.
yeah,
I
I was actually
totally.
gonna go back to one of your comments
Okay,
and
go ahead. Go
ask
ahead.
you
Go
to
ahead. Go ahead.
reframe that. Give me one
I'm
second.
sorry. This is your show tonight. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sister.
So you said the problem was on both sides, and we are tearing each other down. Tearing each other down isn't the solution. So what is the solution then?
I think the solution and is instead of like going on panels and downing each other and putting each other out there in a negative manner, I think that we need to get together and together come up with an equal medium because we as a race we go through a lot in the outside world. The other races and the other people tear us down enough. So for us to do that to each other, that's not coming to a common ground. That's just like adding on to the problem. I think like Asha said that I need to check my brothers, and sisters need to check each other. Each one teach one. I think as a people, instead of talking about the problem, let's get in a round table and let's talk about the solution. Because I'm gonna tell you, as a dark skinned man, I remember I remember trying to talk to women and I was too dark. And women said I was too dark and I wasn't in style. It was the light skinned what's the light skinned dude? Christopher William type of dude that was getting all the girls.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't start embracing this dark skinnedness until later on in my life. So the same struggles that you had, I was dark skinned with a gap, and I got made fun of all the time because of how I looked. Men go through the same thing, but you know what? I was told to be tough and don't have emotions. So the same things y'all went through, we also went through.
But can I
So
say
it's,
something?
let me, okay, go ahead.
To what you're saying. You're saying that the same things y'all go through, we go through. Except, I agree with you. Except, the black woman is being replaced in many ways.
And the black man is also getting replaced. The black man is.
Black man isn't big, but y'all also are part of that replacing us.
When you say black, hold on. I need to. In every gender, it's people that's giving up on their race. It's a lot of black women that's marrying white men. She said, "Why should I put the black men on my back and do this in high school? I have a master's degree, but I
Okay, that's
also been a.
great, but
Hold on,
that
let me
doesn't.
finish. Let me
Yeah,
finish.
but this is also ladies' night as well, sweetheart.
Excuse me.
I'm not gonna repeat myself.
Why?
Continue, because
Let's
you're basically you kind of repeated everything I've been saying, but continue.
Well, let him get his point out, and you can reply. Go ahead, Malcolm. Get your point out.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna respect. I'm gonna respect ladies' night because I didn't come on here to be disrespectful. I just wanted to give my point of view, and I'll get off.
Well, I
I'll.
want you to finish your point, though.
Well, I'm not gonna do that because I didn't come on the show for that. This is also my show, and I just was coming to make a point, not to disrespect anybody. That's not my style. So I'm gonna let you
We didn't
continue.
take it that way. That's why I let you up on the panel so
I
you
don't
could
feel disrespected. I want to hear what you have to say.
I just feel as a race that we need to stick. We just need to stick together instead of pointing fingers, and let's come together and make us and come up with a solution, because we could continue to point fingers, but that's not going to give an answer. That's not going to give an answer to the problem. In both black women and black men, we both have struggles, but together I feel like we could overcome a lot of obstacles. That's
okay.
my only point.
Okay. Well, Asha, thank you for finishing your comment. Asha,
Yeah.
you was starting to reply to him. So go ahead and reply to what he had just said.
Yeah, because I mean, you felt the need to bring up that you have a master's degree. That's
I
great.
was gonna,
Congratulations. I have 3 degrees. However,
no, I
that's
didn't.
not the point that I'm making because you felt the need to throw out your education level based off of something that I stated in regards to like we as Black women, that those of us that are out here, that like I said before, when we're out here and we're building our own businesses and stuff, like we deserve a man that's going to be on our level, that is able to match our hustles and be able to continue to grow with us. But what I'm talking about are the men who are out here with just a high school diploma, no ambition, because I did say that. Men who have no ambition, they sit back and expect most of us to sit here and take care of them with no ambition of actually taking the time out to build themselves up. Like, if I gotta, be able to be the rock and foundation of myself, and you're not helping me continue to keep myself built up, but you expect me to continue to keep myself built up as well as keeping you built up, that's a problem. That's what I would say.
I
Because
understand that.
there are
Yeah.
some Black men that are out there that are like that.
Yeah.
And I've come across a few, a mixture. As a woman who does have multiple degrees, I have come across other men who have degrees, and we click well. Sometimes we don't, because it's the battle of the brains, that happens. But it's like, at the same time, I know a man that has ambition, irregardless of what his education level is. It's just the fact, if you don't have that drive in yourself
Yeah.
and that belief in yourself that you can elevate to a certain level, then what it makes you think that I should have that same belief in you? Like, I'm giving my all to show you, Black man, you can be better than this. But if you're not going to accept that, then why should I continue? And that's something that we as Black women do have a problem with doing. Like, we don't know how to let go when the red flags are there, but sometimes we just don't, for, I don't know, for some weird reason, some women just don't want to be by themselves. And it's like, sister, you got to learn how to be by yourself. Brother, you got to learn how to be by yourself, so that way you know who you are. Because in order for us to have that mutual respect, to have that middle ground that we're all talking about, we all have to be able to know who we are deep down inside. As a person, we got to get to know ourselves first, to understand how we operate, how we look at this world, and then bring those visions together on a cohesive level. And then maybe we can start making some progress, finding the solutions to the problems. But we do have to address the problems in order to be able to find the valuable solutions. Because if we don't talk about the problems, how can we come up with a solution? So it's like, it's not finger pointing, it's just, we're trying to make known the issues that we as Black women, we do deal with in this day and age. There are women like myself out there who are completely aware of the struggles that you as Black men deal with as well. Andre Stubbs even commented about how he, holds certain men accountable in his circle that he knows. Because, like I said before, Black men, y'all got to check y'all brothers out here too. We got to check our sisters out here too. We all are responsible for each other. We are our brothers and sisters keeper. Some of us just don't have that mindset. And you're gonna have some, like I've come to learn that there's a thing, with duality. You just got to understand that not every single one of us is going to get to that level. It's a balance. You just gotta take what you can get and keep it moving. And you're gonna have people, they're gonna jump on, they're gonna do, they're gonna be looking for, what ways they can contribute to the community, what ways they can help each other. But you're gonna have some who are just totally disinterested in all of that. And we just gotta say, forget it and keep it moving. Because how we gonna progress if we keep trying to hold on and wait for people who have no interest in doing that?
Yeah.
Not to cut you guys off. Can we just address? Hold on, I just want to address some of these comments.
Right. I just want to clarify one thing, and then y'all could do whatever. I was saying, when I said my master's degree, I was going to make a point. I wasn't throwing out my degree. I was saying I got my master's degree by making mistakes, by going to prison. That's what I was going to elaborate on something, but when I got thorough, I made mistakes, and I was one of the men that she was talking about. But through my mistakes and through my experiences, I learned how to become another man and a better man. That's what
Exactly.
that's where I was going with that before. I wasn't that I was trying to throw my degree out there. I was trying to say that I understand what you was talking about, because I wasn't always on the level that I was now. I made a lot of bad mistakes, and it had to take me, to get incarcerated to kind of change my life. But go ahead.
So I wanted to address some of these comments. There's a few here. Let me just go back, starting with Kimberly Williams. Okay. The comment was, why can't Black women speak on our issues without Black men inserting themselves? I'm gonna let you answer since you are the man on the panel right now. So go ahead.
Because I feel like we both, women and men, are allowed to assert themselves. Like I feel like I just don't. My personal opinion is I don't like the separation that's going on in the community. I love a woman that is well educated and is about her business and is doing her thing. I tip my hat and I respect that. But my whole thing as a as a black man, I just dislike the disconnect that's going on in the race. That's just my answer.
Okay. Miss Watson, you want to answer Miss Williams' question as well?
I mean,
Why do
I
you
don't
think?
know. I think sometimes there is a need to defend yourself if you feel like you're being misrepresented.
Mhm.
And then I think you have to find a balance between needing to defend yourself and needing to understand. And it's not me who can strike that balance. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that sometimes people are speaking out of their own experience. I'm going to give you an example. I don't get oppressed by white people. White people don't hate on me. White people help me because I help them. I get oppressed by Black people. But I'm not gonna sit here and when Jasmine says I get oppressed by Black people, I'm not gonna be like, well, I don't get oppressed by Black people, so you can't say, because that's her experience. And I
Right.
think that sometimes we just have to be aware of what other people's experiences are, because everybody's experience isn't the same. So,
Right.
like, I can't say all white people are this or all Black people are this because I have an experience that's unique to me in my life. I expect people to listen to me and hear what my experience is without feeling like they have to defend who they are or what they do. However, if you feel like you're being unfairly represented, then of course you have the right to speak up for yourself. But I think you have to find a balance because somebody's experience is their experience. Like
Right.
half of the stuff y'all are talking about, I ain't experienced a lot of that stuff. I ain't never had no man talk down to me. Ain't like a lot of this stuff has never happened to me, but I know that it happens.
Right.
So I can't say
Well,
just because it happened to me,
these aren't
it never
necessarily
happened.
experiences, but I have seen these things happen. So I can't
Experiences and
say
observations.
right. It's like it's not coming from a personal experience because I've never had a man talk down on me ever.
Right.
Period. My father doesn't talk down on me. So it's these are things that I actually see
Mm-hmm.
happening to Black women that I know, that I've grown up around, that come from those types of experiences. So it's like, yeah, on the outside looking in, yeah, I see these things happening. I'm just a lot more discerning with how I make my movements based on what I observe.
Right.
Like that's being smart. Like you just have to sit back and be like, okay, well, I see what's going on. Like all I can do is give an unbiased, perspective on certain things. But it's just like, we all just need to learn how to talk to each other in a more loving manner. And I think I can't really Didiski, I
Katie.
guess, yeah, I think she was saying something in regards to like how she's met some really beautiful looking people who have really ugly attitudes and some really ugly people who have beautiful attitudes. And it's like, yeah, like it's a lot that some of these beautiful people, they got a lot of baggage that they're walking around with. Like that's why these attitudes and energies are so thrown off. Like these people, a lot of us as Black people are not taught to heal ourselves. Like, and then that's another thing too. Like we as Black women, we're constantly being told, you need to heal yourself. You need to heal yourself. But who's telling a Black
Right.
man that he needs to heal himself? Like we can't be out here healing ourselves and then we get back into a situation with someone who has a toxic energy and then we're using all of that energy to help this person become a better person and then leave us for the next. And that's not cool. You know, like we as Black women have to deal with that. And I think I saw another comment, something that I wanted to bring. I think she said that we as Black women are supposed to be, or we were told like we're supposed to hold our men down. And even we stay even though we're supposed to leave. So like, how do y'all feel about that? Like, you know,
That's a good one. That was a good comment that I did want to touch on. And I think it was Kimberly Williams that
yeah.
comment. So Malcolm, did you want to answer that?
I mean, any relationship, it should be 50-50. I don't feel like no. I mean, of course, people come into hard times, but I feel like one person's responsibility shouldn't be greater than another. A relationship is about relating and being there for each other, and it's about two people coming together with, for one common goal.
Now I do want it to. Oh, hold on. We got a new comment that just came in. Latoya Edwards. This is a big one, you guys. I had a Black male tell me that a Black woman cannot be successful unless she has sucked. I'm gonna say dick because you know we ain't filter on here to get there. When I tell you I was furious, as a successful Black woman, I was offended. And some people measure wealth to success. There is a difference in the two. Wealthy people can be born into wealth, but are not successful. And successful people may not be wealthy. The comment was very offensive because as a Black woman, we have enough enemies and we don't need our Black men to drag us. We need to uplift them. You know what? I totally agree with her. And to be honest with you, you know, this is a issue with Black women, you know, especially doing business.
Or even in a corporate world, because
especially a male-dominated business, we have to deal with so much with not only just color, you know, racism. We have to deal with the sexism, the misogynistic part. You know, it's just a lot of things that we face. Not saying that Black men don't go through their struggles in the corporate world at all. But let me just say, these are some of the labels that are tagged to us. While Black men are tagged with thugs and some, you know, excuse my French, you know, fags that they call some of the homosexuals and stuff like that. These are some of the labels that Black women are tagged to: whores, bed wenches, hard to work with, emotional, bitter, controlling, too independent. We feel like we don't let the man be the man. We don't like to see Black men in interracial relationships. We have bad attitudes. The list goes on of how many labels they have attached to Black women that we constantly have to fight every day. So my question to you, Malcolm, as a Black man, you're saying that, you know, it's the same struggles. Now, with all of those labels that have been attached to Black women for decades, centuries, what is your answer to that?
My answer to Black women is I apologize for the struggles that y'all have to go through. Like I really do feel y'all pain. I really do. Like I can never say the experience of a Black woman because I'm not a woman. I am a man. So I cannot relate to certain things because I'm just not a woman. And I don't agree with a lot of these things. Like I feel like in both genders we have bad apples in the bunch. Whoever said that to that Black queen is an asshole. He's a jerk. You know, half these dudes that's talking about women sucking dick, they sucking dick too.
right.
You
And another,
understand?
don't mean to cut you off, but another thing on that too, it's not even just men that said that to women either. Like you have other Black women who work in the corporate office with a Black woman, and as soon as she like gets elevated or promoted to a higher position, they start automatically assuming like, oh, she must have sucked somebody dick or fuck to get her way to that position. Like, you mean to tell me my brain and my skill set didn't get me there? I had to I had to throw some ass around to get this job. Like, come on now.
Right.
Like
What about your work ethic?
right, like why we
But
can't clap for each other?
but
Like,
I just want to say when Black men get to a certain success. We're called Uncle Toms, sellouts. You know, I feel like the struggle is not always about man and woman. I just sometimes think they get intimidated by our race alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
they might.
you I'm
Okay.
sorry. Did you hear about you brought up something in regards to that as well? Like, did you hear about that guy? I think he's here in Tampa. He homeschools his children, teaches them about firearms and things like that.
Oh
And
yeah, I
he
live in
had
Florida. I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, because I live in Bradenton. So basically I guess like somebody in the black community called dude a fraud because somebody white bought this guy's book and advertised it on Instagram, and a black person, some of our people, jumped on this black man's post and just called him a straight up sellout. And it's like, he runs a business. You think we're just supposed to do business with our people? Like, we gonna go broke if we did that, because we don't get a lot of y'all to support us. Like,
Sure
what
don't.
the heck? Like, I was just like really shocked at the fact like these were black people coming at a black man who is teaching his children how to protect themselves against, the enemy and stuff like that, homeschooling them and all this stuff. And for somebody black to call him a sellout because a white person purchased this man's book, it's like, rather than calling this man a sellout, how about you support that man and buy his book? Maybe
Right.
you could learn something rather than sit there with a closed mind and sit behind your laptop screen or your phone and talk shit.
Right.
Like, so I get it. Like, I see the shit that black men go through and like how these black men out here get caught simps because they show love and respect to a black woman. It's like, come on. So he's a simp because he knows how to treat a woman like she's supposed to be treated. So come on now. Like,
I
that's
just
not cool.
I just think my whole thing as wanting to come on here is that I just feel that we cheating ourselves as black people, separating the black man from the black woman and the struggles. We all, even though our struggles may be different, they're all attacking us just from different angles. And then at the end of the day, we're getting angry at each other. Black men, I do agree. A lot of black men get to a certain stature and start shitting on black women, and it's not right. You know?
I think a lot of them do that before they get to a certain stature. To be honest with you, it's a lot of them that they don't even need to get to a certain point to do it. They just do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, we shitting on each other. And I just wish, because I love my people, and
It's
I
just
just
generations of unhealed trauma.
Right.
Like, that's the big problem. Is deep rooted trauma that we still ain't healed yet. Until we do that, we not gonna be able to actually function. Like, it's a healing process on a spiritual, mental, physical level. Like, we gotta learn how to eat better. We gotta learn how to get back to our, spiritual roots, man. Like, everything that has happened to our ancestors, this we're us as this generation, we need to break those generational curses. Like, this is shit that's being passed down on us and they're not being addressed. All we keep
Right.
doing is going around in this circle talking about the issues, but the deep rooted issue are the generational curses and the unhealed traumas that we still have yet to try to figure out how to heal. There's so much shit that has happened to every single one of us. Like, I'm pretty sure that majority of black people walking around here dealing with PTSD and don't even know it
Right.
because
but
it's
if we
not
don't
being
but
addressed.
if we don't come together as a people, how can we how can we how can we stop this if we separate in ourselves in our own
you
community?
gotta you gotta start with your community, which is within your home. You need to get
Right.
your home started first. You can't just go out here and be like, oh, we got to get the community together. No, because that's a whole much wider scale than you just as one person are out here doing. If people in your neighborhood see you functioning and doing certain things within your home, which is your community, they're
Right.
gonna more than likely start following suit and trying to figure out what it is that you're doing. Like, I grew up on a Caribbean island, and these are things that we do. So coming here to the US and my family bringing some of that with us and doing that within a black community that we did live in, Like, yeah, like I had neighbors, we out here planting food. Harvest season, we out here passing out what we grew in that 4 acre yard in the backyard of our houses to our neighbors and all the people that are sick and shut in. Stuff like that. Like my mom moved into this house and started tilling the ground and planting seeds, and her neighbors followed suit. Stuff like that can kind of kickstart some things. But when you start talking about community, I think most people literally just think of on the grand scale of every single person within that neighborhood or that area that they're living in. And it's like your community starts within your home, because what are you doing at home that's actually a reflection of what it is that you're trying to get across to everybody else out here? Because if you're not walking in the light that you proclaim that you want to be out here to these people, they're not gonna take you serious.
Sure ain't. Sure ain't. I definitely agree with you. I agree with you, Asha. For we have a history. So for the viewers that don't know, that me and Asha have a history of trying to do better in our community. And while sometimes it's a hard task with our people, we still try to push and get through it. Miss Watson, what did you have to say about everything that Asha just covered, or either Mr. Malcolm just covered?
I think the most important thing is yourself. And I say that because if you get caught up on trying to be anything to anybody and you haven't taken care of yourself, then what you do is going to be in vain, period, every day. I think we have to look at ourselves and we have to figure out what it is that we're supposed to add to the world. And if what you're supposed to add to the world is being a mother, then you go and you be a mother. And then you'll impact your child, and then your child will impact someone else, and then that person will change the world. And you'll change the world by being a mother. If you're supposed to be a speaker, if you're supposed to be a farmer, whatever it is that you yourself are supposed to be, if you focus your effort on being the best that you can be at what you're supposed to be, you by default will have a ripple effect, and you'll impact everybody that you're supposed to impact. Mm-hmm. And I think even as we talk about the problems that we're facing and the things that's going on in our community, I think the most important thing is to remember that the reason that we see a problem is because there's something that we are supposed to actually do about it. There's no way for you to be able to perceive a problem that you yourself cannot either solve or work with somebody to solve. And so I think that a lot of times, we get caught up in talking about what's going on, and that's great. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you're doing your part to solve whatever it is that problem is. And it's not your job to fix the Black race of people, because 100 years from now, Black people are still going to have problems. 200 years from now, Black people are still going to have problems. White people are going to have problems. Chinese people are going to have problems. People are going to have problems because people are people.
Right.
And so you are here on this earth to impact the people that you are supposed to impact. And if we focus on impacting the people that we're supposed to impact, that's the community that we need to pull together. That's the way that we do our part in fixing whatever problem we're here to solve. Because you can't fix Black people.
Exactly.
That's
you can't fix a whole people.
Because Black people had problems before slavery. Black people had problems when they was in Africa. White people had problems. They was trying to turn everybody into Muslims, and the Muslims were trying to turn everybody into whatever
Christians
they were.
And everything else. Right.
Everybody has problems.
Right.
But at the end of the day, don't take on trying to fix a whole group of people. Fix yourself and use your fixed self to impact the people that are put in your path every day. And that's literally all you're responsible for doing.
Exactly.
You're not responsible for fixing your whole race, your whole gender, your whole anything.
Exactly.
I want to read this comment right here because Kimberly Williams, she made a valuable point. And shout out to her. She's been making good points all night.
Yes, she has.
Her and Dee Dee, and shout out to LaToya as well. She said, we need to allow each other to speak on their experiences without feeling attacked and attacking back. If I say this is my experience, support me and love me through it, and I do the same for you. Let's not try to hush each other. I fully agree with her, because especially in our community, You know, a lot of times we are hushed on a lot of topics, whether it be molestation, you know, homosexuality, mental illness. I mean, there's just a wider range of things that we are not supposed to talk about or shamed to talk about. And it shouldn't be like that. Like, how are we supposed to fix ourselves and heal from it? And teach our youngins to, you know, have their youngins go on and teach their youngins and so on and so forth if we don't talk about it and discuss it. And while attacking somebody because they have an experience, like, that makes you know better than the person who actually did this to them in the first place. Because now you're disregarding it. You're just basically telling the person like, oh well, it doesn't happen. That's not true.
Like, it's not your journey or your path to tell what a person has to we know what happens to a person. Like, it's not your journey, it's theirs. So you know,
everybody has a different journey, everybody has a different view, everybody has a different path where they walk in life. And who are you or you to say that you didn't walk that path, or my path is stronger than yours, or my path is just let them talk it out.
Yeah.
Acknowledge it, embrace it, and then you try to move forward to a solution from it. But to totally disregard it, you're part of the problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
I want to co-sign on that right quick. Y'all know I talk people, well, y'all might not know, but I talk people out of suicide every day, what I do. And one thing that I've learned is that you can't, like, Me Too people. Like, I know it's a hashtag and people with shirts, like, I get it. But you can't always Me Too people. Like, if somebody comes to you and says, I was molested, me too, girl, because let me tell you what happened to me, because I was molested when I was 6. Like, no. Because at that point, what you're telling the person is what you're going through is not important, is what I went through. And so let me tell you what I went through, because what I went through is more important than what you went through.
Right.
And a lot of times, the reason that people get to a breaking point is because they're never able to really verbalize what they went through without somebody saying, I went through that too, child. I went through that too. I know what you're talking about. That happened.
I'm a living witness.
When I was 7 and this happened. And it's like,
yep.
Let me tell my story. Yep. And then sometimes just appreciate the fact that I told my story and don't tell your story. Because everything isn't about what I went through. Like, I don't tell people my testimony when I talk them out of suicide.
Yeah.
I listen to them and I say, well, this is what you can do. You're a great person. You're an amazing person. Half people I talk to don't know I try to kill myself, because in that moment, that doesn't matter to them. They need to feel validated about what they went through.
Yep. Oh,
whether
got
I think it's petty, whether I think it's childish that they try to kill themselves over their cat, whatever, it doesn't matter. I need to validate the fact that they feel what they feel and let them get through it.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because me personally, that is something that I deal with. People don't allow me to get that out. I always listen to their story, but when it comes to like what I deal with most of the time, I don't get that out. And it is met with that, well, yeah, I had that happen too. And then it'd be 2-3 hours later, I didn't listen to everything, you know? And I'm just like, yo, like, I've listened to so many of my friends' stories about things that go on in their life, and, you know, sat there with them 3-4 o'clock in the morning while they've cried, and, you know, just try to send them positive vibes and try to give them, you know, something positive to take away from that conversation, knowing that, you know, I've allowed you to tell your experience, you know. And I was having a conversation with a girlfriend of mine. I've been knowing her since the 6th grade. I was trying to express myself about something that I had experienced this morning from a man talking at me, you know, as if I don't know how to run a business because I'm a woman. And as I'm talking to her about this, it was just like, well, you know, yeah, you know, people this, that, and the third. And I'm like, damn, like, I'm trying to tell you about an experience that I've just had. And somehow this conversation has now become about you. And then when I blow up and I go off because this continuously happens, that I'm actually looked at like, oh, you're crazy, or you shouldn't have to act like that. You have a temper problem. You need to talk to someone about that. And it's like, well, if you would actually take the time out to listen to me and not make it about yourself, I would be okay. it's like, it's frustrating. And it got me to the point where, I was just like, I don't even think I want to talk about my problems to other people anymore. Period. If I'm giving you the privilege to vent to me about your problems with no interruption, with no, oh yeah, me too, I've had to, why can't I get that same respect in return? So yeah, like, personally, yes, I am in a headspace to where I don't even want to pick up the phone and talk to anybody about what I have going on. I'd rather just do like I do and deal with my problems as best as I can. And this is the reality of what we as Black women have to deal with, because I'm living that.
Not to cut you off, but I want to add on to what you're saying. I think, well, for one, I want to commend both of you ladies for, sharing your experience and what you guys have went through. Let's start there. For two, as Black women, we are taught to be the mothers, the strong women, the sisters. Like, we have to weather all storms. And we don't often get a chance to break down and peel back our layers and be vulnerable. And I think that's what the main point of this is. Hear us out, acknowledge, embrace our different experiences, and let's build from there.
Right. And
Sometimes,
those of us that aren't us, stop trying to capitalize off of our struggle and our
right,
stress.
right,
Like, that's not cool.
right. Also, I wanted to go back to when you said the part about corporate America and what the Black women have to deal with. In corporate America, Black women have, been labeled as hard to work with, not successful, this, that, and the third. I just wanted to give some statistics here. Okay. And these are proven statistics. 2.4 million African American women have owned businesses in 2018. Okay. Most of them were owned by the ages of women from 35 to 54. Okay. That's also going to say that Black women are the only, now this is a fact now, Black women are the only racial and ethnic groups with more business ownership than their male peers, according to the Federal Bureau. That's astounding. Like, once I want to give, all y'all women a round of applause.
Okay.
Okay, because it's not easy being a mother. It's not easy being somebody's sister, or whatever your struggle is as a Black woman in life.
Whatever the role, the hat that you wear.
Exactly. And that's actually increased from 1.9 million to 2.6 million between the time frame of 2017 and 2012.
Wow.
So if that was back in 2012, that has increased. We are now in 2019. I'm sure those numbers have exceeded.
They have.
Shout out to y'all on that. I wanted to get on this comment right here. Dee Dee went on to say, it's a form of narcissistic behavior. It's everywhere. You can tell certain people your deepest secrets. Some will use what you told them against you. A fake friend does more damage than a real enemy.
That's true.
Malcolm, what do you have to say about that? Because we want to get your opinion since you are on the panel. What do you have to say about what Dee Dee's comment was?
I think that's true. Sometimes people use your weakness or what you tell them against you as soon as things go bad. So I agree with that.
Cool.
But when y'all finish talking about that, I would like to say something. Like, I'm very proud of all the Black women. Like, really, like, I'm sitting here listening, and I just have to sit back and just listen for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I think Black women should be commended for everything that they do. Like, some of us still really appreciate you guys and really support you guys. You know what I'm saying? I really commend the Black women because I come from a single mom. So I seen my mom maybe at 95 try to make ends meet. So I seen the struggle of a black woman, and I definitely respect it. And by listening to this, I used to wonder why my mom was crying. I kind of got some answers tonight. You know what I'm saying? And I really do respect the black women to the utmost. And I just want to say, like, from a black man, black men do tend to tear black women down a lot. I just want to say, as a positive representative as a black man, I'm definitely proud of each and every one of you. And from the bottom of my heart, I love the black women. Me joining the panel was not to argue y'all struggle. It's just fighting for togetherness because I do love the black woman, and I just hope that we come together and work this thing out because I feel we need y'all more than anything.
For sure.
For sure. We appreciate that comment and camaraderie on behalf of our kings. And hopefully you go on to preach that to your other kings. Just like you have learned something here tonight, take what you have learned and apply that to the rest of your kings that may not have the same mentality of you or maybe a bit lost. Even though if you take a group of people of 10 guys, and if you reach one, it's a good outcome because that one will go get another 10 guys, and then he might reach two, and so on and so forth. Did anybody want to touch on another subject before we bring this to a wrap up? Miss Watson, Asha?
No.
Was there anything we didn't cover?
I do. I have a lot. I mean, I don't want to say too much. I just
Go ahead. Say your piece.
Like I feel heartbroken. Like as a black man, I feel heartbroken by to hear how black. Not saying that y'all wrong, so don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But to hear how our women truly feel about us, and did we cause it? Yes, you know what I mean. As a black man, but to hear it, and to see how broken that we might have caused to you guys, it's a hurtful feeling, because you guys nurture y'all give life. There would be no black man if y'all didn't give birth to us. So to hear the hurt that that you guys feel, it's kind of touching.
Anybody have anybody reply to that or?
I don't know. No.
Ms. Watson, do you have any reply to what Malcolm just said?
I mean, you have to be aware of how you feel, but you have to use how you feel you have to put it in action. And, everybody, what they feel is real, and it's important to be respectful of how people feel. And sometimes I think you have to have conversations to open up people's eyes to see what's really going on. And I think that that should always be done with love and with understanding, because people don't always know unless they're aware. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we expect people to know stuff that they don't know. Like if you grow up in your own bubble and all you're accustomed to is one particular behavior, you're not going to know that there are people out here doing other things. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't learn about racism, even though I grew up like with the Klan. Like I told y'all, I grew up in the Klan county. I didn't experience any of that because of who my grandmother was. But when I learned that other people did, you know what I'm saying? It was my responsibility to do something about it. But nobody came off on me like I was wrong because I hadn't experienced it or because I didn't know. And I think everybody's experience has to be appreciated. And I think everybody's opinion and everybody's thought process has to be respected. That's the only way for us to learn from each other, because nobody knows everything about the Black experience, the woman experience, the Black woman experience. Like if I look at me and Jasmine, we're two Black women with different experiences. She lives up north, I live down south. She has kids, I don't. You know what I'm saying?
I live
Like,
down south.
oh, you live down south?
Yeah, we're all in the South, honey.
Yeah, I'm in Greenville.
Oh, you sound like you live up north.
I'm from up north, but I reside in the South now.
Okay, well, you're from up north, and I'm from down south. So, everything is different for everybody.
Right. I wanted to share this experience with between me and Asha. Me and Asha actually met through. Was it your cousin? Or
yeah, it was.
It was her cousin. It's been about two
years.
Yeah, 2 years. So, when I met Asha, I had this group, which I still have, Back to Our Roots, which is a Black history education group. When I started the group, he invited Asha into it. She was an admin because I loved the information that she was bringing, and a lot of the views that we agreed on, I thought would be beneficial. Now, this was all around about the Texas storm, I want to say.
Yeah.
That we were trying to.
I can't remember which name it was.
Was it Harvey?
I think it was. Yeah, it was Harvey. Yeah.
Okay. So it was Harvey. We were trying to, myself and Latoya, who's also in the comments, we're trying to band together. We started a GoFundMe to try to raise money to, get those supplies out to those people, not through Red Cross, because, Red Cross, you're not going to get your money. Let's just be real. FEMA, none of those. They're not going to get their money. Nevertheless, at the time of all of this going on, Asha actually was going through a personal issue. I didn't really know Asha that long, from a can of paint, but she, confided in me, and I listened, because that's what the group was about. And when she told me her situation, I'm not going to tell it. Asha, if you want to tell it, that's totally on you. But she was going through a situation, and, I felt for her. And being that we're in a group such as that, I should have, we should reach out and help that person, because that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. So I had started a fund for her situation, and we raised some money for it. But the thing about it was, our own brothers and sisters, we literally had to fight for that money for her, and it was just so heartbreaking and sad. Like me, myself, Latoya, who was in the comments, Asha, and other people, we had to literally really curse these people out, to the point really, y'all in a type of group like this to come together and help each other, brother and sister wise, and here this sister needs help. And
I think we had another couple in the group. I think they were just newly married. Mm-hmm. And the wife's husband needed, money to find a kidney replacement, a kidney transplant. And it was just to see the number of people who actually looked at the post versus the number of people who actually helped. And it was an astronomical amount of people who looked at the post and a very small number of people who actually helped out. And it's this is a group where we're all we want to learn about our African roots and our spirituality, and we're here to learn and we're here to grow, and we're trying to do this, but this is the type of attitude that we're met with.
And so, this sister, Janaea, it was actually Janaea.
Yeah. And
my girlfriend Janaea.
And it's just when it did get brought up again, someone came out of nowhere and just well, I did this and I did that, and it was but that's not the reason why we're addressing it. It's just the fact of the matter, when things like this happen, we sit here and talk a good game about helping the community and doing this, that, and the third. But when it's really go time and it really happens and it gets real, people get hush. So it's we can talk all of that too, but it's just crazy. I don't know. And like even with the group, the fact like we still don't get a lot of feedback in this group. People claim that they want to learn and this, that, and the third. I still post information because I just feel like at some point in time, like somebody's going to stop and read that finally for once, one day, and grasp that information. The problem with us as people, we tend to only, it seems like most of us, and I'm just going to say most of y'all, I don't know, how other people are, but most of us learn or take a meme or a video as more valuable than actually going out and doing some research and picking up a book and actually reading something. And that's another kind of something that, kind of bothers me in our community because it's like a lot of people, they find that one person that brings information and immediately that person gets bombarded with all the questions. And it's like, bro, like I researched. I went and did my homework. Like, why can't you do the same thing? Like, we all have
Right.
access to a smartphone. We're walking around with a mini computer in our pocket, but you rather get on social media and BS all day rather than actually go and educate yourself. And then you expect somebody else to take time out of their day, engage you, and show you the way to everything. It's like, I like to work with people that, they like a challenge. They want to challenge themselves. They really are hungry for that information. Like, they really want to know and they really want to help themselves. But when you out here, like, like I said before, and I said it earlier, like, we're going to have to learn that most of us just ain't going to get to that level, man. And like sis said over here, like it's not up to us to fix an entire race of people because it's not going to happen. That's why I said it again, like I said it before, like your community starts in your home. And all you can do is just, people can only look and see what you're doing and pick up from there. Like, that's just where we at right now. So, it's just like, all I can do is continue to lead by example and continue what I'm doing. And if other people see it and they like what's going on, feel free to join. But it's room at the table for all of us to eat. Nobody has to step on each other's toes to get to where they got to go. Like, we all have different talents. We all have different skills. If we just learn how to come together with that, like, we don't have to come together like as one big ass group, as however many millions it is of us. But if you know people around you that you're with that got like these skill sets, man, like, pull together, come up with something, some type of concept to help each other out. Like, I don't know how many times I've sat down with people recently just in my immediate circle that are wanting to get out there and start their own businesses, and they come and ask me like, how did you get to where you're at? I'm willing to give that information, but I'm also looking for you to actually have that willpower and that drive to get up and do it, because I'm not going to give you info for free. That's for sure. And we all got to eat. And the thing is, it's like, we as Black people who have our own businesses as well, like, I don't know what this dynamic is with Black people in this country that feels like we should give you something for nothing. Like, I don't know what that's about. Like, we talk about we need to support each other, we need to do this, we need to do that, but when it comes down to it, like, come on, man. Like, there's a lot of talented people out here. And, I don't know, just, like, I coming up from a different culture, literally in a whole different country, and just to see like what goes on here, I have a lot of questions that still need answers to this day. And I've been here for over 20 years as a US citizen now. So I'm still trying to figure it out. Why, like, where I'm from, Black people can band together very easily and come together, and no one's fighting over who's better than who. We all come together and build family businesses and community businesses, and I'm still trying to figure out why it can't happen here.
Good question. I don't think we'll ever have the answer for that question.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be one I'm gonna go to the grave with.
To the grave with a lot of people. We're not gonna have the answers for that. Mm-hmm. However, I want to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to take this time to Asha, go ahead. Well, we'll start with Ms. Watson first. To go ahead and provide any links to your podcast or your books or your organizations.
So, my website is my name, NicoleWatson.com, NAKOLE Watson.com. My organization is NOMW, which stands for Not On My Watch.org. If you go to my website, you'll find my podcast. All my social media is Nicole Watson, which is my name. And thank you all for being here, and thank you, Jasmine, for having me.
And well, thank you again for returning back.
Thank you.
Asha, the floor is yours for your business links and contact information.
Okay, well, sometime this month the Facebook page will be up and live, so that'll be posted to my profile. But if you ever want to order from me, you can either send me a message on Facebook Messenger. I do check my message requests because a lot of people that do message me, we're not friends on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram at Asha Bailey Couture. And the email address for ordering or any type of questions or communications is ashabailey1986 at gmail.com.
Cool. I also just want to highlight some of these other Black women in the comments who also own their own business. Latoya K. Edwards, she does hair. She is a beautician. So if y'all want to go ahead and add her, she has all her work on her page. She also has her own page called, I believe it's Beauty on a Budget, if I'm not mistaken. There's also Dee Dee Buchanan. She has a radio station podcast show. If y'all want to add her and follow her page as well. Dee Dee, go ahead and provide your links to your podcast in the comments, please. And shout out to Malcolm for giving your perspective from the male's point of view on what we were talking about. Shout out to a couple of men that was also in the comments as well for y'all perspective and comments. Y'all don't forget to tune in Sunday for 16 Bars Sunday, new music. I think we have a guest as well, if I'm not mistaken, but I will pull all that information up after the show. I'm Jazzy J, and this is my partner Malcolm, and y'all have a great night.
Peace.